All right, so this is going to be another movie review live stream for Professor Quiz. Hopefully it works better this time. This one's called Jack London, 1943, also known as The Story of Jack London. U.S. biographical film made by Samuel Bronston Productions and distributed by United Artists. I hated this flick. I'm giving it 1 out of 5 stars. It gets a pretty mediocre 5.2 out of 10. On IMDb, only 401 ratings. Another obscure flick. Cinema cult classics usually... This is the first time cinema cult classics let me down. They always have high quality stuff on there, but nobody's perfect. Oh, somebody's calling me. I wonder who it could be. Good morning. Good afternoon. This is Ben.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, Ben, it's Marty from Good Eggs.
Hey, Marty.
Can you get in here to help with the batch 2A? We just had a driver call out.
I have to pick up my son at San Mateo at 4:30. I don't think I'm going to make it back.
You pick up your son on Thursdays?
Yeah, I have timeshare with my son.
Okay.
4:30.
Okay. What time do you do it?
I have to be in San Mateo at 4:30. Hello? Hello? I have to be in San Mateo at 4:30. Sorry, that must have been the technical difficulty that Professor Quiz was referring to, the in and out. I was talking to the goofball manager at my employer. He wants me to come in to do a late afternoon shift, which I can't do because I have to pick up my son. And I was breaking up because there was poor reception here in this room. So I had to go out towards the garage to get better reception. I apologize. Okay, where was I? Black and white, of course. It was directed by Alfred Santel and produced by Samuel Bronston with Joseph H. Nadel as associate producer. From a screenplay by Isaac Don Levine and Ernest Pascal, based on the 1921 book, The Book of Jack London by London's second wife, Charmaine London. Well, he only has one wife in this film, and I don't even think they get married. I think they're just shacking up with the mammy. The film starred Michael O'Shea as Jack London and Susan Hayward with Osa Masson, Harry Davenport, Frank Craven. I've heard of Harry Davenport, Frank Craven. I haven't heard of any of these other actors and actresses, including Virginia Mayo. Mayonnaise. Virginia Mayonnaise. The film follows scenes from the life of writer-adventurer Jack London, Michael O'Shea, who somewhat resembled London, who was he looks very muscular in the movie poster. It says, here is a man with a muscular dude. Too bad he's a socialist. We hate socialism on this channel. What did Churchill say? Winston Churchill Socialism is the philosophy of failure, the creed of ignorance, and the gospel of envy. Great quote. Too bad he didn't practice what he preached. He was kind of like Ronald Reagan or Barry Goldwater. He kind of he said a lot of good things, but when he became a politician, he changed. Okay. London, who was, among other things, an oyster pilot, hobo, sailor, prospector, and war correspondent. The film really focused on his war correspondence. The film begins and ends with footage from the 1943 of the launch of the Liberty ship Jack London. I didn't see the ending where that happened, but okay. I'm just going by Wikipedia. In Oakland in 1890, after an accident involving a female colleague at the factory where he works, the young London quits and borrows money to buy a boat on which to illegally harvest oysters. The boat is soon impounded by police. One of his partners is killed, and he's left without means. London signs on and is as an able seaman on a 5-month trip to the Bering Sea, during which he begins to write. A brief stay at University of California proves frustrating, as his stories are dismissed as raw, despite London's defense of them as observed occurrences. He calls them as he sees them. That's his claim to fame. But the ending didn't make sense to me. Let me just say that. Okay. He moves to Yukon, where he writes a story about a bar singer. How exciting. Snowed in for months, he writes Call of the Wild, which he sells to a publisher who compares him to Rudyard Kipling, one of London's idols. The publisher introduces him to Chairman Kittredge. Susan Hayward. That's his second wife. What happened to his first wife? Was that the bar lady? Anyway, by the turn of the century, London's career has taken off. He is asked by a newspaper to cover the Boer War. Very boring, no pun intended. But on arrival at Plymouth, the war has already ended. So his war correspondence lasts about 5 seconds in the movie. London returns to Charmaine. Despite a promise not to leave Charmaine again, London is given another foreign correspondent assignment, this time to Japan, where he's told of the start of the Russo-Japanese War. In Korea, an army captain reveals the Japanese aim to sack Manchuria and then Mongolia for raw materials as part of a long-term plan to conquer China and then dominate the U.S. and England. Seems like a far-fetched plot. And the editor, played by Harry Davenport, I think that was the editor. He's skeptical about this this captain's wild claims, but London believes it, of course, him being a socialist. He'll believe anything. London's core coverage of the taking of the Yalu River proves a scoop. However, he is arrested on charges of spying for Russia. And in a brutal prison witnesses the murder of his fellow inmates by the Japanese, who are portrayed as barbaric. Oh, we've got the evil Japanese going, 1943. Eventually, London is freed after the intervention of the White House. And, Karate Man's in the chat room. He's asking, did you hear what happened to Olivia Newton-John? No, I guess she died, right? August 8th, 2022, she died. My stepdad used to call her Fig Newton. What do I think about Donald Trump? Well, the FBI kind of searched his house without a warrant, or maybe they had a warrant, but it was some kind of funky FISA warrant or something. Yeah, I don't care about Donald Trump, but I'm glad Lynn Cheney's gone. The Wisconsin Congress scritter who was the leader of the January 6th hearings. Until now, she's no longer, she's flipping hamburgers in Wyoming now because the voters fired her big time. I mean, the lamestream media didn't even report the election. They just said, oh, it was a victory somehow that she lost. And they didn't show the results. If you want to see the Wisconsin results, you have to go to the website. And it's like so lopsided. I think Cheney's Donald Trump and Rosie O'Donnell hate each other. Yeah. It figures. Anyways, so I think Cheney's opponent got 100,000 votes and she only got 50,000. It was pretty pathetic. It's such a lopsided victory for Trump's handpicked candidate. Who has a pretty good track record, by the way, I might add. Karate Man's early. It's only 1:16 p.m. here on the left coast. All right. So, Jack London was a socialist. He talks about selfishness and greed and tyranny infecting the 20th century. But it's kind of ironic because it's his own philosophy that caused all this suffering in the world, not the technological advances of the motorized engine, the motor car. Anyways, so there's that. You get a feel for what a socialist writer. Yeah, Rosie O'Donnell is a nutcase. Yeah, I never really paid that much attention to her, but I remember people used to call her Rosie O'Dumbbell because she's dumb. Everything that comes out of her mouth is dumb. Anyways, sorry I couldn't do any reviews yesterday. I had to work 8.5 hours. I called on Monday. I asked them if they had any morning routes available. They said yes, but I wasn't. They gave me more than what I bargained for yesterday. So I worked 8.5 hours. I thought I wasn't going to make it to pick up my son. I got to San Mateo at 5:15 p.m. I'm supposed to be there at 4:30. And so I dropped my son off at like 8 o'clock or something. 7:30. No, I guess it was 7:30. I dropped him off. And I watched a little bit of Jack London, but not too much. Not that I wanted to watch Jack London. Anyways, this morning I got my drug test done, and I got my Jiffy Lube oil change done. They did take one of my coupons, so as they said, it was a corporate franchise, not a a regular store. So I ended up paying about $120 $5 for the oil change, the license plate light, and to top off the coolant. At least they check everything at this store. So it was sort of a mixed bag. I got out of there in 20 minutes. I got back here at 12:30 p.m. about an hour ago, and I just started going crazy with the rest of my laundry from yesterday, and cooking up some pork chop. Yeah, nobody cares about Rosie O'Dumbbell, just like nobody cares about the Dalai Lama and his. There are so many things in common between Buddhism and socialism. What a stupid jackass. The holy leader of Tibet is an embarrassment. So is Rosie O'Dumbbell. Jimmy Kimmel. Does he do thanks on the radio? I don't even know who Jimmy Kimmel is. Another jackass who hates Trump, probably. Anyways. Oh, I hit the nail on the head. That's why I don't pay any attention to him. He'll say something like, thank you, climate change, for making us hot, or something stupid. I don't know what his jokes are. But anyways, let's see what's coming pike for next week on Netflix DVD. Oh, $499. I can add a Terrence Fisher. Whew, I'm about ready to take a nap. Then I got another job interview in about an hour. Not that I want another job, but yeah, I think I'm going to stick to 2 jobs, not 3. Because I'll be dead tired working like 80 hours a week. Something crazy. Managers just called me in and asked me if I could come in. I said, it's kind of late. I have to pick up my son at 4:30 in San Mateo. All right. Let's see what we got here on Netflix. Oh. All right, this is looking good. We've got The Seventh Victim, Shadows in the Dark double feature. 1943, then Sherlock Holmes and the Secret Weapon with Basil Rathbone, Nigel Bruce. 1942, that looks good. First 2 look good. The last one, The Shop Around the Corner. Later remade as Meg Ryan Tom Hanks vehicle, You've Got Mail. Starring Margaret Sullivan and James Stewart. That's what I got coming up down the pike. Yeah, I don't know what happened on Monday. Professor Quiz said my live stream kept cutting in and out. I only got 2 comments from Karate Man. And I was trying to talk to Karate Man, and nothing came up in the chat screen except for the annoying Russian bot. Not HDXYZ, but they renamed themselves something else. All right. So this is what I got on my list. The Monster of Pedrius Blancas. I started watching that at Jiffy Lube. Nice movie. The Crawling Hand, 1963. Invasion of the Animal People, 1959. The Jungle, 1952. One Body Too Many, 1944. Blood Warriors, 1993. Screaming Tiger, 1973. The Wild World of Batwoman, 1966. Queen of the Amazons, 1947. Hell Up in Harlem, 1973. Snow Beast, 1977. Platoon Leader, 1988. Sherlock Holmes, The Case of the Reluctant Carpenter, TV episode 21, 1955. Mercenary Fighters, 1988. The Buckskin Lady, 1957. Stormcatcher, 1999. The Taking of Beverly Hills, 1991. The Manster, 1959. Bedside Manor, 1945, aka Her Favorite Patient. Dark Mountain, 1944. The Crater Lake Monster, 1977. The Giant Spider Invasion. Stick, 1985. The Forest, 1982. Phantom from Space, 1953. The Dungeon of Horror, 1962. The Amazing Mr. X, 1948. Damnation Alley, 1977. Shadow Warriors 2, Assault on Death something. Karate Man knows the title. That's 1999. Law of the Jungle, 1942. Blake of Scotland Yard, 1937. Kansas City Confidential, 1952. The White Cannibal Queen, 1980. Windjammer, 1937. Swamp Fire, 1946. Police Story 4. Blood Ring, 1991. Hostile Country, 1950. Rotor. The Wrong Road, 1937. You Bet Your Life. Identity Unknown, 1945. Chain for Life, 1952. Untamed Woman, 1952. The Case of the Christmas Pudding, Sherlock Holmes, TV episode 23, 1955. Texas, Brooklyn in Heaven, 1948. Beast from Haunted Cave, 1959. Moon of the Wolf, 1972. Hurricane Smith, 1992. And Sherlock Holmes, The Case of the Careless Suffragette, 1955. TV episode 20. I've been to Michigan, Seattle. I've been to Battle Creek, Hillsdale, Michigan. I've been all across the United States. I've been to Chicago. I took Amtrak from California to Michigan and back. So that was my land trip. I missed most of it. I just sat on the train board. Yeah, I've been to Las Vegas. That's where I had my honeymoon, my first honeymoon in Las Vegas. That was kind of fun. We went to the Elvis Museum. We went down the strip when it was 105 degrees, looked at the shiny lights, and we wasted our money on slot machines while we were smoking cigarettes inside the casino. And they're giving out like free steak, free hot dogs and stuff. It was like all the food was free. Then we watched some stupid. My first wife, she was kind of a mixed bag. Later on, she became an alcoholic, and she would go visit her friends in LA every weekend. She would fly there. I get sick and tired of her. She caught me flirting with my coworker, my Chinese coworker, Symphony Chu. She said, "Oh, that's your girlfriend." Bah, bah, bah. Finally, I just divorced her. I got sick and tired of it, man. She said I wanted to turn her into a barefoot and pregnant woman. Yeah. Maybe if she was in the Philippines, she wouldn't have been able to get an abortion with my baby. here at San Francisco General Hospital. But she did that, and she promised me that we'd start having kids when we hit 30. But then when I confronted her, she said, "You just want me to be barefoot and pregnant." So I said, "Okay, fine. You want your freedom? I'm not paying your bills anymore." And then she filed bankruptcy after we separated. So, but she's still not as bad as my first wife. At least she likes cult movies. Yeah, my son Aaron is a good kid. He's not in the same kind of movies as I am. I used to take him to Stanford Theater and Castro Theater, but he didn't like it, so I stopped taking him. But sometimes he recommends movies like that Nigerian movie and It, both of which were great flicks. That Nigerian action movie, funny one. All right. Well, nice chat with you, Karate Man. I'm up over 26 minutes now. I went down my ginormous list of movies that I'm planning to watch. So I'll start with the Monster Pedrius Blancas. Laters.